It's me again. What's this video about? One, two, three. Basically, I keep watching all these videos online. I see the top 5 tools you need to whatever. And since it's always the top 5 to get into metalworking and welding and all this stuff. And people list off 60,000 tools. And, well, I was pondering on making a video because there's a ton of them. So, being an amateur hack like myself, I put my top 5 tools that I think that I started out. I think I started out with. They're basic tools that, well, you can do quite a bit with, besides protective equipment. First thing you should have is eye cover, and any other. Basically, cover your head. Everything else, is pretty hard to cut off with small tools. And besides owning a welding machine, I'm going to not get into the welding machine. I'm not going to get into the PPE. This is just 5 tools that I think are super useful. And here, I'll show you. I'll stand up and so you can see me here. Let me just turn this higher. The first thing I think mostly every video mentions is an angle grinder. And no, you shouldn't use discs like this because, But an angle grinder, you can cut, grind, sand, and do multiple things with multiple discs. Should you use a broken like that? This one I dropped on the floor. And I broke the disc. But an angle grinder come in many species, many varieties. There's red ones, there's blue ones, there's off blue ones, there's yellow ones and black ones, and there's $14 ones, and there's 21. There's also ones with on switches that stay on, ones with toggle switches, and corded ones. So yeah, first, my pick is an angle grinder. When I first started out, I bought an angle grinder. I've killed many since. My second will be no surprise that I think if you're doing any type of metal work, you'll need vice grips or any type of locking pliers. Isn't that the biggest brand? You can find these people selling lots of them for 20-30 bucks on Marketplace. How do I know? I'm always trolling Marketplace for weird new and improved vice grips or older varieties. And if you ask anybody who watches my videos, you'll know I have a few of them in that box over there and under here. But vice grips, you always need to hold something. They're pretty good. I wouldn't use them for stripping, taking bolts off unless you want to strip the head off or you don't really care about the bolt. They're not really used for that, just for... And in the past, even though I'm an amateur hack, I'm not a working metal shop. I don't do metal fabrication ring, but when you build something big, you can use these clamps for almost anything. Most people already have these, so you're good to go. The second thing you might need is one of these. Dun, 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 dun. And as you can see, I paid $2 for this. This hammer. You can find them almost anywhere. Flea markets, whatever, you don't have to buy it. I think I started out with an Estwing hammer, a regular housing hammer, and I just started buying hammers. The other thing I find for me I thought was important, besides a welder and besides my PPE, because I don't like losing an eyeball, and when I started messing around with metal, it was like, 20 years ago, my father was like, what do you want to learn how to weld for? And he used to do welding construction, and, he wanted his kids to go on and do something less, whatever. And I'm like, man, that's more fun. But it's a lot of work, and, give credit. It's, if you work your hands, it's a lot of work. The other thing I tell people is invest in a pair of these. I know it's classified under PPE, but it's also a tool, because this tool will help you grab stuff. It'll save your fingers, it'll save your time, and you can do a lot with these basic tools. Most of the other tools that people have, most people, if you want a welder, you do have some other tools. There are the occasional people that start welding and get into metalworking and have nothing and just want to start doing it. And basically, to me, these are 5 basic things you need. A pair of gloves, a hammer, some vice grips, an angle grinder. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Most people already have, and when it comes to all the other stuff, like most people have a ruler in their house. You can use anything for a ruler. I've used pieces of lats. Most people have pens because we used to do writing, have a Papermate pens. Most people have cleaning products, paper towels. Most people, you start out welding, don't buy all the other stuff. There's just things that come after. And I think the most important thing is like when I started out, I wasn't rich. I'm still not fucking rich. I wish I was rich. I have a bigger shop and it'd all be fancy tools. Actually, it wouldn't be. I just finished the outside. But when I started, I just started buying little things that were cheap. And you just pick up little things here and there. And Marketplace, used stuff. Like I have a used bench grinder, a used why can't I remember the name? I have a used vise. I have my father's old vise that sat on the floor for 10 years. And God knows how many more years it sat on the floor. I have a used Baldor grinder that originally cost $600, brand new, and I paid $70 for. I bought a cheap Mastercraft grinder back in the day when I had some money and needed some grinding because this wasn't cutting it. So I bought a grinder. I think I paid, back in the day, they were $79, $69 for a cheap Mastercraft. Right now I have a used arbor press. I have what do you call it? A used drill press and a used bandsaw and a bunch of other used stuff. So other stuff comes later. But when it comes to basic tools, those are the first one. No, I'm not recommending these as basic tools. This is what I first had when I first started. I didn't really. I don't know. I started with almost nothing. I think I bought that Craftsman toolbox back there. I bought it at Canadian Tire. I bought 2 pieces, and I literally had a toolbox full of nothing. And I was like, well, what do I buy? And I still have my first Craftsman screwdrivers. I bought some wrenches. I bought a couple of, what do you call it? I think I bought a set of crescent wrenches, or that's what I called them. So I just kind of built it up from there. And after that, I used to go to a place around here. It was called the St. Eustache Flea Market. And believe it or not, most of my vice grips are all used. I used to buy the big giant locking C-clamp ones. They were like 20, at the time they were $20, and I'd go there on weekends and I'd find a screwdriver and find a wrench and stuff. And another friend of mine supplied me with tools from some other place, which I can't mention on here, but they just appeared out of the sky. So yeah, that's my take on that. So also don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the subscribe button down there somewhere. See, I like to share that. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to tell your friends and join the channel.